This morning I've come back down to my local forest, Delamere. As the last time I was here, excuse me, I felt like I didn't do justice to the scenery or myself, and I struggled a lot. So today I'm going to get my revenge, so to speak, and the weather's looking a bit more promising, so I'm hopeful of getting a few decent shots. I'm back out with the film camera and we're going to finish off those rolls I started last time. The conditions really are looking nice this morning. If you listen to the background noise, that's the wading birds over by Blakemere Moss. It's a very popular place for birds to nest. Very, very noisy in the morning, you can't eat yourself think. This is the sort of area though that I'm favouring this morning. It's the marshy areas, the peaty areas that have been reclaimed from the forest. A lot of clearance gone on, and I think it makes spectacular landscape. Okay, I've got my first composition of the morning, which I'm pleased about, because it's only taken me about 15 minutes, so much better start this time. And I have myself lined up on some very attractive trees. I'm going for the broken tree there in the middle, and I'm going to use a short telephoto lens, and I'm going to use a couple of colour films, Provia and Ektar. Exposure, 2 seconds, f/22. Now when I'm shooting with my film cameras, like the Bronica, which is without a meter, I use a spot meter. This is a SQAi, and I use this to take light readings around the scene, dark and light, and then I work out my exposure. Now with slide film I have to be careful not to blow the highlights, but with negative film I have to be careful not to lose the shadows. So it's a bit of a compromise. Today contrast levels are quite small, so it's quite easy to just use the same setting for both the slide and the colour negative film. Now I've walked probably only about 5 yards from the last composition, and I've been rather taken by this scene behind me. Now I'll be honest, I'm not totally convinced. I have the tree smack bang in the middle, but that's just where it seems to fit. I have bright patches around the outsides, so it's a bit of a risk, this one, and due to the huge contrast range with the bright light coming through the trees, I'm only going to shoot it with Kodak Ektar, a negative film. Provia just hasn't got the latitude for this, so I'll just take the one frame, fingers crossed, always worth a punt. Now for this shot, I probably spent about 20 minutes moving around trying to get exactly the composition I wanted. I didn't want too much sky in there because that's going to drag my eye away from the main image, which is the beautiful trees and the water. Now I've taken a bit of a risk here. I've shot it on both Ektar and Provia. There's no way that Provia as a slide film can capture the dynamic range in this scene, but I've taken it anyway just to show you the contrast between the two. Now I've had to change the exposure settings. I allowed more exposure for the Ektar than I did for Provia, because Provia will just blow the highlights, much the way digital does. So let's have a look at the two of them and see which one you think's best. Okay, this is quite a straightforward composition here. I've just got a lovely set of trees, little saplings coming up out of the water, and I'm using my short telephoto lens at f/16 just to isolate them in that lovely square format. I've shot it with both films. Contrast range is pretty good, and the sun's looking really nice now, so it's picking out some excellent detail. These old trees behind me look absolutely amazing. I'm just drawn to the colours. Look at the green of those mosses. It's almost like it's glowing. So I'm going to have a go at shooting this. Don't know if it's going to work, but I just can't help it. It's just too good an opportunity to miss. Now I've gone for a bit of a longer shot here. I'm in a more open clearing. Light's gone in, thankfully. It was very, very bright and contrasty. So I'm going to shoot over towards this group of trees behind me and some lovely little green saplings coming through there. And I've actually used my short telephoto with a 1.4 times converter just to give me that extra bit of reach. Okay, last scene this morning. I've gone for a big open scene, wide angle lens, also got a polarizer on there, and for the slide film, 2-stop hard grad. Well, that was absolutely brilliant. I've finished off my films, 2.5 hours, and I'm on my way home. So I've got to set off on the journey back to the car, which is there. Couldn't be easier, could it? Thanks for watching. See you next time.